We got the young guy, Sunez Allah, coming up next.
The hip-hop writer is a creator, composing understanding words of cultural brilliance, powering a rebalance of the elements equally. Pages of rejuvenated reaffirmation, simply the almighty leadership of insightful craft work that stands to build through any confrontation born to be. Yet his daily duty is as a journalist that questions properly, uses his ears for the good to filter the real, and as the art decays by dilution, he concentrates the best again and again, exposing it in the print. Today's journalist and tomorrow's historian, he listens to share. Here is that necessary attempt, executed again and again and again. Peace. This is Sunez Allah, aka Skillustrator Low, the Power Right. And this is PremeHipHop.com on the Vandal Hour, on DTF Radio, alright? Everyone is clapping. Everyone is clapping because, not because we're going to do a great show. They're clapping because they haven't seen my ass in a long time. It's great to be back here in DTF Radio. I love everything that everybody does here, Vandal Hour. It's such an honor to be on one of the most progressive shows in the universe. You know what I mean? How many shows are like this, you know? But we got a great show for you today, and like a lot of the shows that I try to do, I try to bring artists here that are missing. Artists that are not being shown out there, artists that are good as any of the piece of shit that you're buying out there. But at the same time, what we're really trying to do is also show a different way of hip hop, a different reality of hip hop, and at the same, and you know, as all that happens, maybe we could expand the way this culture works, though, that just like graffiti is really part of this living culture, a daily life that goes beyond just what will pay us the next day, but something that we just live that gives us life. So, with that said, there's a lot of context of history in this show today. As me being the god of the nation, the 5% nation of gods on earth, Sunez Allah, this is a crucial part of hip hop, and I think we ought to focus on that today a little bit, right? As it should be focused on a lot. Remember, to the listeners, if it would be fair to say that the reality of hip hop culture and music is equivalent to the gods and earths as Rastafarianism is to roots reggae. It is not a far stretch to say that that connection is that there. Meaning this, a lot of the shit that you think is really dope and that was invented by some pork-eating fool that was really good at breaking and popping and talking a lot of shit was actually invented by us. You know what I mean? And from Kool Herc, and this is from Kool Herc's mouth to me, whether it was Kool Herc and having the gods protect the speakers, whether it was the b-boys developing the strength in their b-boy stance coming from us gods standing on the square, whether it was the language and the format of the cipher, whether it was the language of this idea of showing and proving, being on the square with the knowledge of self that you have, using this music to find a deeper reality of who you are. This all comes from the gods and the earths. And as we fast forward, we have a legacy of journalism that doesn't know shit about that does very little to cover that. So what we have here is, in this day and time, after 20 plus years writing and reviewing albums and making this writing an art and element, that is a creative writer, a journalist, and a historian in this hip-hop music. As a writer, making this an element, what happens is, thanks God. What happens is that in this day and time, though, on PremeHipHop.com, what I have is really a next level way of writing, a way of making it an element where it's art on art and science on music. So, you know, as we did in all the other shows, I'm gonna read you something that's, you know, PremeHipHop.com, we haven't put up anything since about March, and we're relaunching actually this week. So, I don't know, the genius of GMath, you got me on the air right as we were gonna launch though. No promotion, no nothing. I said, hey, we're launching, we've got to get on the air. He just called me up, it's Mind Detect Mind. You know what I mean?
Facts.
right? So now that we are on, we're relaunching this week. It looks great. My brother Paragon, my partner in PremeHipHop.com, has a new layout. It looks better. So let's say if you're a bum and you don't like to read shit, you can just go on the site though and just look at nice things. You know what I mean? But one of the pieces I have though, and I won't tell you what piece it is though, but I do mention the album that's for, if you could guess it. It came back out a while ago. But when I talk about art and art, it's about a creative way of writing, a creative way of detailing these things. So I had this, and this is part of it. And being that, you know, we're dealing with the gods and earths, let's build on this. I said, what makes rain, hail, snow? So fuck it if you don't know already about passages that gravitate upon the planet premierly. An invisible atmosphere I ink into sight. A renaissance of the real been distilled. Now picture all the percussion posts. Only I can permit with words that scribble alpha into macros and scramble respect fate into lower letters. That's capital punishments for microaggressions. So sound the wire, I sling crackers. Take devils off the planet and now the corners are filled with the residue of violence, fertilizing fulfillment. The wild now is an exposed chaos of civilized animals. Beasting builds betterment to savage humans mating with hatred. It gets real, but the older God taught that if you want to see the word, let the letters come together. Now that's from Skilla Straight Alone, yours truly. That's Art and Art, PremeHipHop.com, and we're relaunching this week. But the other factor of this, what makes hip-hop writing an element, is not just the creative aspect injected into the writing, but also science on music. I've said this in a couple of pieces I wrote and in a couple of shows, even here, about this idea of what makes a great journalist into a historian is the point of impact when he writes. Simply put, when he covered the music, he was actually there. A lot of people have talk about music and they weren't actually there. So some experiences as we reach in and we have this episode about the gods and the 5% and the knowledge of self, what we really, it goes to go forward, let's go back a little bit and a little bit of experience in the science on music with Wu Forever. Today marks the 20th anniversary of Wu-Tang Forever. I think for me a classic album. I'm not sure where it ranks, the top 10, top 20, but I know that it's my personal favorite. And I know that it influenced me immensely to write creatively, but also to write substantially. To be able to say something profound, but also not just profound, where it's stated plainly, but also make it creatively. Flower the words, detail the words, dress them up. You know what I mean? Play with the words, you know? It's almost like a puzzle. But one of the things I remember, and I bash the media so much, is that I think that my experience with this album was that the response to this album in all the industry media circles I was in, that includes XXL, that includes Vibe Magazine, that includes Stress Magazine, even though Stress Magazine had great taste, but it includes those ciphers that I was in, mainly XXL at this time, really. And Vibe, I was leaving them, or I was getting blacklisted. I don't know what you call it. Let's call up somebody that was there. But in those circles, I really thought that Wu-Tang Forever signaled the coming of the Dark Ages, right? And when we're talking about the Dark Ages, that I call the 2000s, it's because of this reason. Most of these corny journalists, editors, college programmers, and DJs with large platforms had issues with the album at this time. For many, when I used to get into these discourses, it was too bland, and I'll tell you the meaning of that. Too bland meaning it was too hardcore, it was too wordy, meaning they really don't like lyrics anyway, but just hooks, right? And there were too many MCs for one to shine. Now that's a problem because it's hard to find a star to market if you actually gotta listen to the lyrics to see who's good, right? And there's a love of lyrics that's necessary for this album. So you're gonna hear Ghostface Killah with the beginnings of the abstract flow and the abstract non sequitur writing like we was talking about off air that becomes Supreme Clientele, which changes the game, like legends like Sean Price would be influenced by for his second career, literally as Sean P, right? Remember the Perfection, my brother P. But at the same time, it was the lyrical peak of depth of certain MCs like RZA. You know what I mean? RZA took us to school, whether it's those verses that he had on the Gravediggers' second album, but mainly on that Wu-Tang Forever album. I mean, those were monumental. Everything appeared here from a thought. I mean, just that one line alone destroyed my savage life. You know what I mean? Because I used to go to my brother, my twin brother Manny, I used to go to him, look, Riz is onto something here. Now, if only I could get to those lessons that he's talking about, because I could get a queen and I could get the seeds, but if I could get those, you know what I mean? If I could get those lessons, what is he talking about? My brother's like, yeah, no, it's good. It's good rap. It's good rap. And I'm like, no, there's something else here. You know what I mean? It was like a holy grail of a record with the way RZA was rhyming on there, because everything Brand Nubian had seeded, everything that Rakim had said, it kind of was all coming into fruition with that album. Like, there was a place to go, you know what I mean? There was other schooling to be had. But here's my final thought on that, as far as Science on Music for the listener. Wu-Tang Forever was a rare moment. I'm not saying the only moment, but maybe Public Enemy's Takes a Nation of Millions is another major moment. Where real hip-hop is not just representing what is, like our lives, our ghetto lives as black and brown, our oppressed lives, but it's blatantly pushing others to see others, meaning ourselves, to see something deeper via the challenge of just listening to the music. In other words, just like Takes a Nation, Wu-Tang Forever was literally not just showing us who we are, but also challenging us to listen deeper, to hear something else that we ought to be. And the way to get that message was to challenge yourself and actually pay attention. Go through the Bomb Squad's yelling beats and listen to Chuck. You know, take the time to weave through Ghostface's cleverness and RZA's technicalities and see what he was talking about. You know what I mean? So it's an important album. But on that respect, we fast forward and that album was dumped on the shelf. I can't tell you how many people thought that was a piece of shit album. Right. You know what I mean? And they were like, oh, it's too much. If you used to go to Nobody Beats the Wiz back then, you could have, that was the easiest album to get used back then. They had so many copies of Wu Forever that I was like, wow, everybody bought it, but they were like, no, they're not savage anymore. These are real quotes. You know what I mean? So people didn't want to listen, and I'm not even going to talk about some of the beats that RZA was doing that was very progressive, because Triumph itself is mad progressive. The way he had those bass drums like that. Yeah. But and the arrangements, you know what I mean? Longer arrangements, right? But when we fast forward and we find that today's era has so many brothers that have knowledge of who we are as the gods and can say they have knowledge of self, they don't declare themselves as the god. Because they don't go under the study, like Sean P said, they don't go under the study to get that knowledge, and there is a depth there. And today with my guests, I'm trying to show you that there's a deeper depth and there's a more profound reality to the music that could be exposed to us, along with brothers that just influence it positively. Yo, peace, yeah, no, that's nice that you said that. I like the way you use that. But really live it out, you know what I'm saying? And when we have that, this year is almost a renaissance. We have the God Qasim Allah with a great album, Return of the God, MC. We have the God from Detroit, Lord Josiah of the Wisemen. That's the Detroit Wisemen with Bronze Nazareth, June Mega, Philly, one of my favorite crews of this decade. They're incredible. And Lord Josiah's Grounds of Detroit, G.O.D. Part 2 came out, and I think Lord Josiah is one of the great producers of this era. Producers out of 2010 on, he's one of the great ones. He's already going down in the way I document it as incredible. And that album proves it. And then you have just released this Friday, the God Genzuddin and the legendary God Wise Intelligent have their album Game of Death, which if you just hear that song Damn, and the way he goes in on KRS-One not doing shit and co-signing that fucking pedophile, you gotta appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what? The gods are here to remind us too that the babies are the greatest. And even if you don't do anything that has to do with pedophilia, and if you don't do anything that hurts the babies though, if you don't speak out for the children first, then fuck you for the moment. And that includes all the teachers that we had at school, and that we had on the street, and that we have on wax. You know what I mean? But within those 3 albums, and great albums, bringing a renaissance back, I also have to bring my guest, who I think is really, to me, the last couple of years, one of the best, I'm gonna say unknown hype that I have heard. My guest is from Rockland County. The God is a builder. I first met him in my class. I've been teaching at Allah School of Mecca for over 17 years. And I had the pleasure of meeting him in one of my classes though. Every one of my students rhymes. Seriously, like 90% of my students rhyme. So it's not like, oh, let me hear you rhyme, you'll get in. So he was like, oh, I rhyme and everything. It's like, yeah, that's peace. You know, I didn't act like, you know, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, but it becomes part of the curriculum, God. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's take that into the writing format and see what you could do to make life better, though, because some of them, they're just not, you know, they're not ready, right? But the God, when I heard him, he was ready. You know what I mean? And so my two guests today are really, to me, is my new guru and premier. You know what I'm saying? And my guru and premier. I have
that's big.
The MC Allah Preme to me on the left. Peace, God.
Peace, God. Peace.
And I have INFMEGA in front of me right now. And you know, he's always on the job. INFMEGA, he also does.
Always.
He also directs, edits the majority of videos. He keeps up the Allah School of Mecca YouTube site where so many people get to see my videos that don't get to come to the class. And so many other brothers and gods and earths, and you know, he lends with the questions he has. He gives us a living context. Right. You know, he gives us a living context for us to see how their daily life is. And you know, he's still recording this shit now. You know, G-Man has all these cameras here and he's still recording. Like, you know what I mean?
God is on his job all the time.
I'm saying he doesn't have to. He can take a day off, but he's not gonna do it though. The gods, they continue daily. They continue daily to show and prove that Allah is the God, right?
Each and every day. Each and every day.
But I want to say peace to you gods, because I'm a real fan of your, I'm a fan of your work. As a journalist, I love your work, INFMEGA. It's not just the way you direct. It's not just the, you know, when you hear these videos and watch these videos and brothers are building, you could watch these videos and be like, man, I don't want to hear the older God build, but you watching it anyway because that beat in the background,
yeah, that beat,
is killing them.
Yeah.
And these are all INFMEGA beats, man. So he's a killer with them. You know what I mean? So let's begin though. Let's get the Spider-Man origins of Allah Preme. You know what I mean? So I gave a little bit of where you're from. Allah Preme, let us know a little bit of the history about, you know, how you started with hip hop and how that coincides with getting the knowledge. Because those are two separate paths that smash into each other.
Right,
you know?
right. Like you said before, God, I'm originally from Rockland County, New York. It's maybe 20 minutes right outside of Mecca. That's Manhattan for y'all who don't know. I started rapping. It's funny that today is the 20th anniversary of Wu-Tang Forever, because that's one of my favorite hip-hop albums, and actually one of the albums that got me to start rapping was Wu-Tang Forever. And you know, I just heard that album and you know, just listening to the RZA and the way Havoc was putting his beats down, and there's a certain style and a certain, you know, aura about how they was doing it and just the sounds, and it just influenced me. And once I heard Wu-Tang Forever, I knew that's what I wanted to do. When I seen the video, my Uncle Wally, you know what I'm saying, who actually put me on, because before that it was Michael Jackson, Madonna. You know, I was listening to what my mother and my sister listened to. See what I'm saying?
Indeed.
I didn't get introduced to the hip hop until my uncle really put me up on game, and like, you know, this is Wu-Tang, this is, you know, the Lox, and you know, I'm like, my main influences is Wu-Tang, the Lox, Biggie, you know what I'm saying? And that was the foundation. And I didn't get the knowledge. I've only had the knowledge of myself for about 4 years now. You know, my man, Rob Euros, and for the life of me, I can't remember his righteous name right now, but he goes by Rob Euros. I always had an idea of what Allah's mathematics was and what the nation was, because I listened to so much Wu-Tang, but it didn't really change my life until I met my man Rob, and when he broke down what supreme mathematics was, and when he broke down what the supreme alphabet was, and then I did my own research. And I spread the knowledge.
Let me rewind a little bit. You start listening to these albums, Wu-Tang Forever, this 97 and stuff, right? As a young kid, when you start rhyming and stuff, what are you doing when you start rhyming? Because all of us love to rhyme and stuff. Like, in my experience, I had to make my own element. I sucked at rhyming, so it's not like I liked it and then all of a sudden,
when I first started, like everybody's influenced by somebody. So
Absolutely.
my flow was definitely heavily influenced by Styles P. That's one of my favorite rappers of all time. You know, and as far as my beat choice went, I went more along the lines of, you know, like the heavy samples and like, you know, like the grungy, real like Cuban link sounding, like it sound like the snare is the top of a trash can and the kick is like, you know, that drum with the hole in it and there's cushion inside of it. You know what I'm saying? I embody that grungy New York sound that you know, where you can still hear the record popping and it sounds, you know,
when
like
you were
it's
growing
recorded.
up in Rockland County, what was the scene like there? What was the cyphers like there? Were like you able to walk
was
out?
crazy. Like back in the day, you know, like people from out here will call us upstate, but if you actually look at where Rockland is on the map, we're right outside, like we're right here. See what I'm saying? So coming up, I seen the same thing somebody growing up in Harlem would see. You know what I mean? The crack was in the neighborhood, the coke was in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? We was exposed to things at a younger age. So I was young rapping about a lot of things that a lot of people my age couldn't relate to because they just wasn't seeing that. But you know, in the town where I'm from, the hood is literally a block. See what I'm saying? So that's why we're so close knit. So we seen everything in that little radius of space. You see what I'm saying? So that influenced the raps a lot, and just, you know, repping my neighborhood, and you know, that's where it all came from. It was just putting on for my town and, you know, giving Rockland the name. As far, you know, because the only person to really come out of Rockland, well, he's really from Brooklyn, but you know, to come out of Rockland and really have a name is Saigon. See what I'm saying? So, you know, we always was just trying to put on for our town. And that's what this foundation came from. That's really what made me want to rap. You know, was like, oh, Spring Valley got Saigon, so you know, somebody got to come out of Nye and do it. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you, like, you start rhyming and stuff, and you decide to, you know, start some verses and stuff. How does this develop to saying like, yo, you're really talented with this? When do you start realizing you want to make music and put it down?
There was a song I wrote, and I don't remember the exact topic, but I know I touched on abortion, and I touched on a couple of other things. Like I said, like at this time I didn't have knowledge of myself, so I was still, you know, I was raised Roman Catholic, so it was still like mystery God things going on in my raps, and you know, that's really what brought it to fruition. When I really realized I had something was when I came up with that song, because it was delivered in such a way, like it didn't take much to write the song, it just came out. And that's when I knew, like, you know what, this is something that, because it's coming so naturally now that I'm not sitting down and having to really think about it anymore. It's just coming out now. So that's when I realized I had something.
And that, you know, that journey had to be difficult coming from Rockland. And you know, like even now, as we speak, even, you know, you already have. Tell me your journey to the Knowledge of Self, and then to these mixtapes that you've released.
My journey to the Knowledge of Self. I mean, from when I was young, I always had. But the journey to knowledge of self started with just asking questions. See what I'm saying? I was inquisitive. I wanted to know. Like I said, I was raised Roman Catholic, and that religion is so many fucking cliffhangers, God. It's like, fuck, you know, like, give me the answer. You see, you're not giving me the answer. You're just, you know, you're tiptoeing around the shit. You're not telling me, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're personifying God, but they're not telling me that. They're telling me everything. Like, like he's in me, he's around me. But they're not telling me that he's you. You see what I'm saying? They tiptoeing around the shit. You see what I'm saying? So that journey just came from me being inquisitive over the years and me asking the right questions and doing the right research. It's funny. I can remember, like like a little bit before I got the knowledge, I was watching a lot of like Brother Polite shit, but some of the and I have nothing against the brother, but some of the things that he was saying, I was just like, nah, bruh, like, nah, that's now cipher, now what I was saying, you know what I'm saying? But I was looking at it like, nah, like, you're freestyling when it comes to that. He made a lot of good points too, as far as instilling the love back in the black self, and you know, having the love for yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I could agree with him as far as what he was building on. But until then, until I met my man Rob, you know what I'm saying? And he really put me up on game to like, see, like when I was listening to Wu then, and when they was building on certain things that came with the mathematics and lessons and things like that, it went over my head because I didn't really know. So
absolutely.
Once I got the knowledge and I went back and re-listened, it's like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of shit that was encrypted that now it's like I speak this language now. It changed my life, man. And the whole journey, I wouldn't change it for anything. This whole,
you know, I felt as a writer, and it's not even as MC, but as a writer in general, when I got knowledge self, a lot of the ways I was writing before, and the conclusions that I would make that would lead to the height of my writing, the climax of my writing, was all incorrect.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like once you get knowledge of self, how did that affect your writing? Like, what was the process? Did it change it? Did it change your cadence?
Yeah. It's night and day. I mean, you can listen to the first middle of the Ghetto mixtape. It's funny because I have a lyric on that mixtape.
This is where I was going, yeah.
I have a lyric on that mixtape where I said, "Nah, I ain't 5%. I'll tell you what my name means. Preme for perfect rhyme. Every man envies." See, my name started off. My name was God Preme before I had knowledge of self. See what I'm saying? So I tell people every day, like, I didn't choose the nation chose me. It was innately in me for some reason. My name was God Preme before I had any knowledge of self. It was great art divine, perfect rhyme, every man envies. That's what God Preme was. Before I ever had any knowledge, I didn't know any supreme mathematics, but just for the fact that I, you know, abbreviated it, and you know, a lot of things that I was doing early on before I had the knowledge coincided with the nation. So once I read that knowledge degree in the 1 to 10, everything changed then. Once I read that degree, everything changed. I was the God from then on. There was no mistaking. You couldn't tell me shit after that. Once I read that the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. Peace. There was nothing else you could tell me, God. There was nothing else you could tell me. It changed my life completely, night and day.
Well, let's now inject and get INFMEGA into this conversation. You know what I mean? INFMEGA does have a very unique history in just hip hop itself, and his learning curve and all the experiences that he has. You know what I mean? But INFMEGA, where do you come into this situation here? And then how do you meet? Once he gets knowledge of self, how do you begin hip hop and what you were doing in hip hop early on, and then come to the fruit to seeing and hearing Allah Preme?
Okay, well, I started out listening like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my all-time favorites is Preme. You know, and Preme taught me a lot through his lyrics. You know, and then after Preme was, of course, like, you know, Wu-Tang, you know, but by the time like Wu-Tang came out, I started experimenting with Wu tapes, making beats and whatnot, and experimenting with records and learning about the history of music and everything.
Did you MC in the beginning, or did you try to MC?
I did try.
Yeah, I'm always curious why people go into beats or go into.
Well, I mean, you know, it was a craft that just didn't flow as naturally. So like Allah Preme said, it just didn't be natural. You know, because me, I was like wrapping my brain. Or it may come, something may come, but it will come like so far in between.
Right.
You know, it wasn't like, you know, I may come up with something like, oh, this is great, and then I would have that for like 4 or 5 years, picking the same rhyme. The same exact rhyme. So, you know, but I found that beats, and you know, a friend of mine, you know, he came to my house with a loop tape, just a cassette tape that he sampled a whole bunch of records. In him sampling these records, like, it was just like, what is this? But then I started hearing like the ideas of certain like beats that I would like, some of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, so let me try a hand at that. I tried it and I liked it, you know, because it was kind of like, you know, a form of self-expression, and so I can listen back and listen to my own ideas. And like, all right, yeah, I like this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care what anybody else because nobody else was hearing it but me.
Right.
But I could go even further than like going back to like my early years. I would make tapes of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like with the thing. But before that, you know, like I had friends that came around and had some Preme INFMEGA, and you know, I was attracted, you know, by them because you know, like my cam and then it's just always something that was like, yeah, and you know, like my background is also Christian. You know, that was like I always had questions in there. I wasn't getting the answers.
Right.
I would tell them like I said that I'm God. I'm like, oh.
Don't you take his name in vain now.
But then, you know, I listened to her.
Yeah.
It stayed in my mind, like, you know, I know, you know, like, when I pray, I hear my own voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when I want something, I gotta go out and get it.
You gotta get it.
Wait, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes my mother would be like, oh, you got me the new He-Man. Well, you know, I prayed for that, but you know, that was
But all praises due to the man.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, like the music and knowledge itself kind of was always like you know, like hand in hand. Like, you know, I got a lot of knowledge from the music. I got a lot of knowledge from Rakim, Wu-Tang. But Wu-Tang, it became like more like musically, like I just saw how RZA applied mathematics to
RZA's the fucking best. Man.
Right. Like the way he applied himself and his music, and it just the science of sound, like the way he broke it down. Like to me, he's like the grungy mode. Not even, I wouldn't say mode. I'll say more like the Beethoven hip hop.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
As far as the griminess,
He
yeah.
had like a dark sound.
Yeah.
He composed like these great compositions of music with like pieces of dirt, like he just might have just sampled from like, wherever.
And he uses like, not to cut your wisdom, God, but like like the obscure parts, like the parts that everybody like.
And he was a little off with it.
Yeah, it's like off beat, but it's on beat.
So
you see what I'm saying? That science is crazy. That science is crazy.
His kind of really. It really inspired me, you know, and this is the amount of time I'm making loop tapes and whatnot. I wound up upgrading, getting the Sonic Mirage, 8-bit sampler. Then I learned that he had the ASR 10, and I went and got the ASR X, which is the drum machine version of the keyboard.
Okay.
And I just went to town, you know. I would say like in the late 90s, I kind of, at least in my mind, I felt like the game became really oversaturated with a lot of, everybody was a producer, everybody was a rapper. So I was like, let me go out the window on these cats and let me start shooting videos, you know. And I kind of took the same method of my loop tapes and I married it into, shooting videos. I would take 2 VCRs, and this is how I would take 2 VCRs and mixer. And this is how I would
that is crazy.
Which I would make I could never reduplicate. I would just make a tape and that was it.
That was it.
They were pause tapes, basically. With my
like video,
video pause tapes. And I made with my 2 VCRs.
Just stuck it.
That's ridiculous.
And I also used some of the beats that I made from my ASR.
And they would be part of the score in these videos.
Right, exactly. They were, and I came up with around a lot of talented lyricists. You know what I'm saying? They didn't necessarily blow up, but they were lyricists that I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? It made me want to get on my game and dig more into the music, and that's how I kind of really started, doing the video things.
And when we get into the videos, before we talk about Preme, you had already started and said, listen, tell us about the beginning of the YouTube page of Allah School in Mecca.
Okay, well, yeah, well, that started, you know, because, you know.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
I started seeing a lot of different videos about the nation. You know what I'm saying? And there were a lot of good brothers that were making videos, you know, but the quality wasn't, you know. And I figured that by this time, let's say 2013, 2014, I'm like, okay, I already developed the skill now. You know, I can travel over. I've developed a certain kind of quality. I said I can bring this and I can add it to my nation. You know what I'm saying? And by this time, I'm already, you know, 20 plus years, you know, deep of having knowledge.
Well, it's not, you know, to the listener, it's not that easy to record this nation of gods and earth because we deal with very oral teachings and a very personal teaching system.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And yet, there's such a diversity of gods of all ages, of all backgrounds, that are willing to really go in and build and share things while you're recording. You know what I mean?
Well, and see, the thing is, that was one of my goals. Was like, you know, walking and talking with a lot of these individuals and building just, you know, and because you know, I come up like, you know, like all the 5 senators who have history in this nation, you know, around firstborn prince, you know, being around firstborn prince. And actually, around that time, I was making the poor tapes, but it was like almost like I was like too scared to like pull out the camera or something. Like, it was like, you know, like, well, I didn't want to bring my grandmother's camera to a law school in Mecca. I just didn't have that mentality. Then, you know, when you know, God returned, it was like, damn, I had all that opportunity to document it, and I didn't.
And you missed it.
I missed it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know. And then, you know, so I just decided, like, you know, let me just start documenting. Let me just, you know, because I have been doing it before, but I never really brought it to my nation. And to bring it to my nation, I feel it's something that my nation needs, something that I needed as well, like something to kind of learn. You know, like you know, you do your writing, and you kind of look back at your writing, and you just, you know, kind of study yourself.
Right.
And see yourself in your own writing. It's the same thing with the video. I see where I was at this specific time and who I was dealing with. And I kind of preserve the jewels that were.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's important to me, like, to preserve the jewels.
And then when you're doing all this, there's so many people that you eventually meet.
Right.
There's so many people that you build with even more, like, and that includes me.
Right.
And you eventually meet Allah Preme. You know what I mean? Tell me about like you meeting Allah Preme.
Okay, well, Allah Preme, that was kind of interesting. And I don't know if you remember this guy because I was interviewing what's the guy's name? Suquan.
Oh, from Gravediggers.
I actually came to interview
Caligula, yeah.
Actually,
oh, okay, yeah.
Suquan happened to be there. And you know, Caligula was more like, because I was really coming to see him, and he was like, yo, I got Suquan with me, why don't you know, go Suquan.
And that build was amazing, too.
Right, and Allah Preme was on the side, you know what I'm saying? He was on the side, and I think, you know, Allah Preme said, yo, I like what you're doing online. I thought he was talking to me. And I went to him, he was like, nah, I kind of bypassed me and went to Caligula. I was like, oh, no, Caligula's the man. He's the man. So, you know, I think I started putting the Fuquan and stuff online.
Well, no, God, because the day Born Mastermind, the law was bombed.
Yeah, no, but this is before that, though.
No, that came after because the day Khalik was there was the same day we recorded the Kingdom video, God.
No, actually not. Nah.
That was after?
This is before. It was before. That was the first time that I met you. I met you.
Oh, okay. You know what? You're right. I get those times mixed up. Part of self.
So when you do meet, right? Just to fast forward, right? You do meet. How does it link up that you guys both know you do music? You know what I mean?
He spit.
I spit him the Mystery God track.
Mystery God.
Ah, okay.
Right. He had it, and I think
right in the law school.
And I think
Divine Understanding, Born Allah was there. I Self You Allah was there.
I didn't get a chance to record it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
he recorded it. It's online.
Well, let me ask you, if Mega, the beats you have, they have such a great essence to them. You know, like sometimes you'll give us a feel of the 90s, it's got a lot. It's not. It's totally different, but I'm just giving it a visual. A lot of the great producers in the 2000s that came out, they have that feel of the 90s, but sometimes they give you something else real, like Ninth Wonder, people like that.
Yeah.
And then they eventually come up with something that sounds totally different, but they always can show you back then. I always felt your beats had that, you know what I mean? But you weren't really producing for people straight up, and then all of a sudden you're putting them on these videos, but then you say, let me work with Allah Preme. Why Allah Preme?
Because we clicked, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and he was, you know, like younger than me, you know, younger was more like, yo, peace, God, like, you know, the kind of like, you know, come to me like for the wisdom, and as we build, it's like, all right, well, okay, you know, I may give him some advice on, you know, whatever he may be going through, or, you know, he's building for him, but at the same time, like, and the building, yo, God, I got something, you know, send me something. Okay, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying, let's see what you do with it. And, you know, he came to me with a couple of joints that was like, okay, you know, we can work, and
it was real organic too. Like, I don't remember us ever really like, yo, we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? It was just like, I don't even know. It just that magnetic.
Send him some joints.
Yeah, send me something.
Send me something.
And over the last couple of years, really like 2015, 16, we've been hearing bits and snippets. And you know, this is one of the joys of having you brothers here. You guys have been teasing us ridiculously, and it's pissing me the fuck off. You know what I mean? And
This
now I'm
year,
waiting for
the
something.
teasing is over. It's
Because
over.
there's such, you know, for the listener, when you go, you can go on the Allah School of Mecca page, you can find the videos that he's on, you can find other videos. Allah Preme has such a great way of injecting the daily street life. The shit that isn't supposed to be talked about.
Right.
Along with all of the just daily struggles of the street, struggles of being a black man. But then there's this fortitude and strength that comes about with it. And it comes with being able to articulate the language and the dialect of 120 so naturally in the songs. You know, you have a extremely high live meter because you stay in, you know, for the listener, Allah Preme stays in that mid-range, which is the hardest range that an MC can stay in, but it's also a range that he finds a lot of liveness to it. So, you know, Allah Preme, you're kind of an MC that sounds like you're speeding up, like you're about to like run through the mic, but then as the song goes on, you realize that, wait a minute, he's still in the same range.
Right through it.
He's not really running, he's not really outpacing, he's still in the pocket the whole time. Right. It's a very difficult skill, and this is why I'm so big on your music and stuff. And I always think that INFMEGA always challenges you with something that sounds perfectly suited to what you need.
Yeah, because
you know,
Inf's gonna come with that. See, the thing is, what makes it so, the best part about it to me, is the sounds and choice of the samples and sounds that Inf uses, because, like you said, again, it's a challenge, and like it's just so cohesive, because it's kind of like, you know, like I'm all the way in Rockland, he's in Pelon, but like
that's
it's like yeah, that's the Bronx for the listeners, but like we're still working on the same, you know, same thing, but we're apart. But I would say like the beauty really comes from his sound choice, and you know, sonically what he's doing, and like it just brings me back. I just feel like I'm on the block again, and you know, as far as like, you know, infusing the street element into it as well. You know, I can only talk about things that I've been through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can only talk about when I was hustling and when I was doing certain things, and you know, making the news and all of these things that's been a part of my life. See what I'm saying? Like, I'm not telling you, I don't glorify it, but I give you the reality of it too. See what I'm saying? I give you the good side of it, and I give you the bad side of it. See what I'm saying? So I try to infuse all of that.
You know, I've been seeing you promote the Grits tape. I've been asking you brothers, when the hell am I going to get a record from you two guys? You know what I'm saying? Because it's really there. It's like, it's powerful. You know what I mean? It can challenge any of the stuff that I'm hearing out. You know what I mean? So tell me about like the next steps and what we're going to hear.
The next steps and what you're going to hear, it's not even only what you're gonna hear, it's what you're gonna see as well. We working on a lot of visuals, cause we have records. We got music. We got a whole stash. We got a lot of stuff needs to get consolidated. That's another problem too that we've been facing, but we're getting all of that under control, and you're gonna hear a lot and you're gonna see a lot. Today we shot 2 videos alone today. See what I'm saying? So this is just a snowball effect. From this day forward, you're just gonna get more Allah Preme and INFMEGA. It's just gonna be more and more.
That's really peace, you know what I mean? And like I said, you know, I always try to bring. I've always brought to the Vandal Hour MCs that had actual works, like really dope works that they had put out. This is the first time when I say these guys are so dope that, trust me, you need to know about them a little bit beforehand, because the work that INFMEGA has done is crucial to me, to this entire hip hop culture, to me, the world, because he's put a camera on a people, the only people who have mathematically and scientifically endowed their livelihood with shown and proven that there is no mysterious being, energy, or force that controls our reality, but it is us.
Right.
And the rarity of that and the necessity of that in these Trumpian times are important. You know what I mean? Important to say the least. You know what I mean? It's worth more than the pence. So, with that said, all I need is a track, so we can show, so you can show the world, Allah Preme, how dope you do it. You know what I mean?
And that's coming.
You know what I mean? And if Swift drops a beat right now, we get some from you. I don't care if it's old as hell. I don't care if it's
OGC.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh man. Oh man.
Home of the original. Shout out to OGC.
Indeed.
The whole
Indeed. You know, and then, you know, with this, if you go to PremeHipHop.com, we have pieces on Allah Preme. Obviously, we're gonna have this show when it gets out there. We're also gonna, as we relaunch, we're gonna have a ton of articles in there. I've been writing like hell because we're all got to show that we're the best. You know what I'm saying? When you want to show about graffiti, when you want to show about the street and stuff, this isn't the show you listen to see another one. This is the show you watch to see the best one. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you put on the college ball. You put on college ball because you're waiting for the finals. You know, you got, right? You put on some clips and stuff. Nah, but when you want to see the finals, put the finals. This is the finals. You know what I mean?
Finals right here.
There's no other graffiti show like this, though. There's no other show that you know, and so because they're the best, it's an honor to be with the best. You know what I mean? So, you know, let's all take note of that, though. So as we do the knowledge to this, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Yo, God, in the years that, just the short years that we've been coming here, that I've been coming here to do this show, and seeing what people do with graffiti and seeing what a live thing, I cover hip hop music, but seeing what people do with graffiti and seeing how large it is, you know what I mean? This is why I don't cover graffiti. Because the journalism needs to be as broad-based, where they could have someone that is like me, that has studied it enough to say, listen, we know about this stuff here, and we were here to see that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But these people covering hip-hop, they cover graffiti, they just walk by it like I walk by, you know, an ad for dairy, and I'm a vegan. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't know what's going on. Then they're writing about it, and they don't know anything about it. They don't have that love for it, though. They can't spot it immediately. You know, I know you brothers are walking down the street saying, "Oh shit, who did that there?"
Nice.
You know what I mean?
I mean, just even on the walk over here, you know, like I'm from outside the city, so like even on the walk over here, like, you know, you like the graffiti, all over here on Flushing, like up Flushing, like, you know, it's good to see that, like the impact of, and like people treat hip hop like it's just the music, that's just the element of the shit. See what I'm saying? Like there's different elements of this shit. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when you're like me or you like us, you know what I'm saying? Like I treat the graffiti the same way I treat the hip hop, the same way I treat the breakdancing, the same way I, you know what I'm saying? It's all the same shit, to me.
And that's what this is for, because these venues, these forums, Vandal Hour, PremeHipHop.com, people don't know that we're really speaking. They think we're just talking shit.
Right.
They think that we're just scribbling on walls and stuff. We're actually speaking. We're actually expressing certain things.
These are messages, you know what I mean? And codes.
Yes, we're actually expressing things. And when we explain and we detail how we're expressing, then we get our children and our babies to come and express even better. You know what I mean? And with that, there's really nothing else to say, but if we get that track, oh man, because Allah Preme, show and prove, God.
Stay in the mic, stay in the mic.
Yeah. This is filthy. Yeah. Vandal Hour. Allah Preme. DTFradio.com, man. Yo. Yeah. Let that shit breathe. I got you. Yeah. One time, yo, I'm getting down and dirty. I'm 730, I ain't rap too tight. I'm the truth, make a nigga see the way like light. Your whole profile off, let me teach you right. My whole regime outside, down the wild for the night. You a house nigga, fucking with the devil god. Get a hot round in my town, out the metal lord, mental terror. All in together, I be chopping off heads, battle god, Preme never. It's all in my skeleton, bad to the bone, pull up and let it ring. I ain't talking about a phone, get caught, they gon' sing. I done heard it all before, every time I put in work, they be fucking with the law. Nigga, this the G.O.D. Yeah, you heard right, see it through my P.O.V. That's the God sight, niggas play C.O.D. but can't war right. Once you in the ground, it's a rap, no more life. Shit, and I don't want a bloody knife, but you and your man suspect. What's your set like? Yeah, I peep shit quick. I got a third eye, satellite sight from above like a bird eye. Scatter like lights through a European follicle. Prison diabolical, Duke with a monocle, big 40 caliber, spitting that. Come on. Yeah. I'ma get some shit. Hold up. I got you, man. I was like, yo, yeah, you still worshiping a mystery god, looking up to the sky, searching for a white man with a beard, and he said to have powers of all, but he don't show and prove God. This the true and living God right here with you, so you can stop looking around. Ain't no big red devil down in the ground, ain't no big white man up in the sky. I said the black man is God and he true and alive. Taught by the Father Allah, Supreme Alphabet. I guard the culture, now nation to end. You and I verse the devil. I blast the metal. It's revolutionary time in the ghetto. And I came to resurrect the Asiatic from death. The 85s don't hear me, the mentally deaf. The 10%, they don't want to hear my tracks on the mainstream. I be the 5% teaching all of the babies. Yeah. Prison. Yeah, Swift, I see you. I see you, bro. I see you, Swift. Yeah. Prison. Yo. Yeah. God prison rap spit golden bars. How we ain't got a million. All my people building. Look at all the children. Who gon' teach them the devil was a pilgrim? Grams in the building. Pussy by the corner store. Cracks in the pipe. Cocaine in the straw. Jake with they cannon out. Black man laid out. Trump for the president. Look at how we going out. Mother for the fathers. Drama and chaos. You ask why I bother. God ain't got a day off. My nigga, I'm the golden child. On layoff. Keep the pressure on your neck. Take the prey off. I know that all the work I put in, it's gonna pay off. If you ain't riding the wave now, then stay off. Straight up out the jungle for real, I let the K off. Gas devils back to ash, prison Adolf. Wow.
Alright. Peace to the God, man. Peace to the God. Alright. And on that note, man, I want to thank you, my guest, Allah Preme. I want to thank you, INFMEGA, for all that you do, you know what I mean? Not just for the music, but coming through, you know what I mean? Dealing with all us gods. Getting all our ideas down and sifting through all the shit that we say and making these great videos, you know what I mean?
Where can we check that out?
You know what I mean?
Where can we check that out?
Oh yeah, Allah School of Mecca, YouTube. You know, just look up Allah School of Mecca. It is the Allah School of Mecca YouTube page. That's where you see all the clips from my classes, the Peace Course. It's where you see all the God Fakeem. Man, you even get videos from Fakeem. And you can filter all through all that.
Yeah.
Man, that says something. But, oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody subscribe. And a lot of great works from Allah Preme on there. His thoughts, his ideas. And man, these brothers are just real all-around talents, you know what I mean? And all-around gifts to the world. So I want to thank you. I want to thank every listener. And on that note, I want to say peace.
Peace.
INFMEGA did this.